So why is belief in the Synoptic Gospels, right? First, so why does Jesus in the Synoptic Gospels need the people to have faith in order for him to perform a mighty deed? Because you'll recall elsewhere in the Synoptics, he could do nothing in Nazareth because there was no faith there. Remember? How come in John, Jesus does a sign and then they believe as the result of the sign? You don't think that that's a major difference?
It's a cultural issue.
Do you understand what I'm saying? No, but right, Lucy, but no, there's a serious theological difference here.
They believe differently.
One, faith is a response to the sign. And it's a sign, not a mighty deed. To the other, faith produces the mighty deed. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's a major difference. What happens when you guck all these stories together and you mix them up? Well, you're missing everything. You're missing everything because what you want is, being a good American, you want a biographical life of Christ, right? You want a life of Christ that fits your logical, rational mind. And in order to get that, idolatry. You're sacrificing what Matthew's trying to tell you, what Mark's trying to tell you, what Luke's trying to tell you, and what John is trying to tell you. And some of these things are just, they're not reconcilable. I got to tell you. They're not reconcilable. What? Like, for example, Magi are not reconcilable in Matthew with Luke in a manger.
It's different stages. Like we have stage 1, stage 2, and stage...
That's why, Lucy, you're saying we have the variants of the stories, right? Because these texts evolved. Lucy, tell me, in the sky with diamonds, tell me, are you telling me that these stories therefore are not modern Western biographies and should not be treated as such? And they shouldn't be treated, we shouldn't go looking for their details to try to find scientific proof? Is that what you're telling me?
No scientific.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Why is it that scholars believe that this is one story interpreted 3 different ways?
They disagree on this because it may be, the Johannine version may be, it's certainly much more distant, isn't it? The Johannine version? It's got, like Marco was saying, the guy's a royal in this story. That means he's a Herodian, part of the royal family. That's different than being a centurion, a retainer. Two of these stories puts him in the retainer class. It's still high. By the way, that's another thing. Why would, in all of these stories, the guy treats Jesus as a social superior to him, right? Jesus, the Galilean peasant? Does that culturally make sense? Well, it may be if he's recognized as a famous folk healer, then he's seen as somehow able to barter favors with alternate reality, with holy and absolute mystery, with God and the realm of God. Okay, if that's the case, then yeah, I could maybe see that situation happening. But that's hard.
Also, they're desperate.
They're desperate. By the way, did you notice that in the 4th Gospel's version of the story, remember in both Matthew and in Luke, Jesus does a big spiel about how he praises this man's faith, right? Remember? He says that. Does he do that in John? No, he just says, go. Maybe the 4th Gospels community, the Johannine community, the anti-society, it has this issue. Because you see this same thing happen again and again. Somebody requests a sign from Jesus, a help from Jesus. Jesus says, oh, I don't want to do it. And then he goes, oh, come on, please do it. Okay, I'll do it. And he does it. Maybe that's the Johannine Jesus group, to go back to Marco's point, maybe that's the Johannine Jesus group saying this. You know, Jesus will help you. He will get you the favor, but you have to persist with him a little bit. So if the favor doesn't come, hang tough, it'll come. Be like Mary, be like the royal. Maybe that's why the story is written there. Yes, Dave. Oh, Stephanie. I didn't know who had their hand up. Stephanie, I'm sorry. Go.
I'll defer to her.
Yes, yeah, that's wise, brother. Good man.
I'm having a hard time even getting it out. But the way I'm sort of looking at it is that although, I'm agreeing
Sure.
with everything you're saying and teaching, but I'm thinking from God's perspective, he's presenting his own reality in 4 different voices and saying, sometime in your life, maybe it's going to be like this, and sometime and you have to follow the Spirit.
Wow.
But
in the tradition of the church and everything.
Yeah,
Well, Stephanie, I think that is a very wise, spiritual Christian understanding of the story that does not violate the literal sense. It comes after the literal sense, though, because the literal sense helps see it that, okay, originally there were these different theological perspectives that seem to be saying very different things. Can we apply these things spiritually to our lives later on in the way Stephanie says? Absolutely, praise God. I think that's beautiful. Let's come to that, though, after the literal sense. But she's doing that. She's doing that. You're doing that, my sister. That's beautiful.
It's better than when you mish it all together.
But when you mesh it all together,
Yeah.
you miss those insights, don't you? And your spiritual thing is going to be something like this. Jesus is Superman and can do whatever he wants anytime. He's Superman and I can't even be knocked out by kryptonite. He's one better than Superman.
Or you'll take it a
Which is
step
ridiculous.
further and say back then he performed miracles and now he doesn't do it anymore.
Exactly. And it's obvious why the disciples never were hungry along, because he could produce fish sandwiches anytime he wanted for them. Right? And why were they picking grain if he could do that? Yes, Dave.
So are you going to get to, what is it that Mark wants us, or the writer of Mark wants us to know? Does Luke want us to know?
Mainly John here.
John wants us to know.
Eventually, give me enough years, I will do that. But right now, we're talking about John. But yes, with John, I'll do that. I'll try to do that. Thanks for watching. Just continue the playlist for the next part of the study. If you have further questions, this is good. They will get addressed, so keep watching. If you found value, please subscribe, like, and share. As always, questions, comments, and criticisms are most welcome. God bless you.